I did a Star Wars cartoon, so even I get hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog, you're just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for fucking kids.
Right. Yep.
The second 3 were for different fucking kids. And this one is for kids. You just pissed off that Han Solo gave the fucking Millennium Falcon to a girl. That's it. Because Luke Skywalker's Cinderella. Or
I'm going to use Geeks and Gamers and a clip they made to respond to this, just to point out the hypocrisy from Freddie Prinze Jr. that he's been going on about this for over, a year. And I wanted to highlight this small clip which Jeremy actually also highlighted, but I'm a much smaller channel, but I also wanted to come out to basically put him on blast because Freddie Prinze Jr. is full of crap. And here, listen to this clip that Jeremy has uploaded. I'm also gonna put it in the description below, so here, enjoy.
This is me, April 29th of 2018, when Freddie Prinze started going after Star Wars fans. This was my response to him.
And then obviously he was great as Kanan. I've always liked him. I've enjoyed seeing him on Jedi Council. And now the fact that he's on social media and he is taking specific shots based on race, it just blows me away.
So he says right here, he's like, always remember, a whole bunch of average, out-of-shape white guys fantasized for decades about Han giving them the Falcon. Then, wait for it, he gave it to a girl. The horror. Let them cry and moan, take their joy in their misplaced pain and grief. That's what he said.
I don't understand how these things can continue to happen. It reminds me of a quote, and I'm going to read the quote. I don't know who came up with it.
Now, we're going to listen to this quote because it's relevant here a year and a half later.
Quote, it's often been linked to Gandhi. There's no confirmation of that. I don't really give a damn who said it. I just think it's a good quote. And I think it's very fitting with what's been going on with The Last Jedi. Because if you remember The Last Jedi, at first, there was no criticism. There's no criticism. Everybody loves this movie. Then there's a few fanboys in their basements, but they are such a small minority that they don't matter. And then it became, it's Russian bots and Facebook groups. That's what it is. There's not a lot of people. And now it's getting to the point where they are actively going after people on social media for having an opinion. And the quote here...
They've been doing this since The Last Jedi released. I want you to think about that, and they're still doing it.
Here is, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, which is the point we're at now. Now they're actually fighting us, and then you win. And I think that's a fantastic quote.
Sleeping Beauty, okay? He can talk to things that don't speak English and understands what they're fucking saying. He gets a fairy godfather instead of a fairy godmother who teaches him how to be the best Jedi in the world in no time fucking flat. And everybody, I know more about the Force than most people because Dave Filoni taught me and George Lucas taught him. And all these video games have fucked people up on what the Force is. Luke's skill doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses.
Right.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
And I would say this is the perfect example of why Dave Filoni is in charge of the best storytelling of what Star Wars has even offered since Disney has bought it in Rebels. And why Freddie Prinze Jr. is just a voice actor, not that doesn't know crap about Star Wars. The Force isn't just balance, it's also about... The balance was Anakin basically getting both sides to the same. So basically there were two Siths and there were two Jedi left after he had killed the entire Jedi Order along with Count Dooku. So he balanced it out. And that's not how Luke got his powers. He got it after 3 movies, losing... he technically won against Vader, but lost against the Emperor. And he didn't actually become a full-fledged Jedi until the 3rd movie. Not the first one. he managed to basically tap into the Force in episode 4. Was started to be a Padawan in episode 5, and then full-fledged Jedi in episode 6. But you would know this if you were actually a fan of Star Wars, but you're not. So all you're going around is basically saying there's a balance to the Force. Have you even watched Clone Wars? Have you even understood the universe that George Lucas has set up? Because this is just evidence that you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to Star Wars.
The Emperor doesn't dictate whether he wins or loses. The Force dictates who wins or loses based on balance. And here's the quick version on how to explain it to all these people who fucking think they get to decide. In the first if you want to do this like time-wise, Palpatine, you would say, and Yoda are the smartest too. Palpatine clearly smarter because Yoda was blind to the power of the dark side and the seduction of Anakin. So let's talk about the seduction of Anakin fucking Skywalker for a second. If the Emperor is the smartest dude in the universe and knows that the Force dictates this, if he kills who he sees as a rival, Anakin, then he knows the Force is just going to fucking correct that because the Emperor knows this.
That's not how the Force works.
Oh my god, that's not how it works, dude. So, Palpatine always saw Anakin as a pupil, and the Force wouldn't just make a new so-called chosen one. That's literally not how the universe works, how George Lucas has set this up. Again, this guy has not watched Clone Wars at all, and the Force is some sort of the religion, some kind of mystic force that that will benefit you, but can also destroy you if you don't listen to it. So that's why the Jedi Council basically, because they lost touch with the Force, they got too arrogant. And Palpatine, being smart, got the most powerful Jedi and turning him on his side, along with the basically making the entire Senate and the galaxy go on his side and making a war, and then turning on the Jedi and getting all power to himself, along with the help of Anakin. And when he saw the only reason he wanted to switch out Anakin was with a more powerful version of him, because that's what Sith do. They seek power, and Luke was a more powerful version of Anakin when he defeated him. If Vader would have defeated him, he would have settled with Vader. Oh my god, this is... I don't know how I am supposed to tell this when this guy is supposedly on the inside of Star Wars. And he's so vulgar as well, so denigrating to the fans. I just don't. I don't get it. Let's continue.
These are George Lucas's words, not mine. So fuck you if you disagree with me. Straight up, this is information, not affirmation time. Straight up, man. So the Emperor knows that. So instead of killing Anakin, what does he do? He seduces Anakin to double the strength of the dark side. So then, what does the Force do?
Balance.
It balances us. How? It gives us twins, Luke and Leia, 2 and fucking 2. Balance. And if you look at the movie through just that simple perspective, you will not only know why every single bad guy loses and every single good guy loses, you'll know who's going to win and lose in the next fucking movies.
So if you take George Lucas's word and he is the end all or be all end all, then why are you taking the sequel trilogy? Because that's not George's vision. No. That's Disney throwing out his vision. And yet you want us to believe that the sequel trilogy upholds it's what I would say is fan fiction at this point. It's not true to George's vision. He had outlines for all 3 movies, and the Disney and Lucasfilm, the company you work for, which you say all of this is Lucas's vision, they didn't follow it. And for you to come out and say that everything is that the twins, they weren't even really twins when Lucas made episode 4 and 5. He decided this in episode 6, but they weren't supposed to be the two Jedi because Leia never got any training, and after episode 6 there are no more Sith. So that analogy or metaphor or whatever you want to call it, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And the thing with Star Wars is supposed to be a hero's journey, and how would you know that Rey would beat Kylo Ren? It's because Lucasfilm has an agenda. It's not because I did not know that Rey would win, but because Lucasfilm has an agenda. She won both times, no training whatsoever. She had one half of a day of training, beat Luke, beat Kylo Ren twice, and then also beat the guards with no problem whatsoever. They even edited out blades and arrows to basically make her look good. Your argumentation does not matter. And why is this guy going after his own fans? He's supposedly his character is very loved. I like Kanan from Rebels. I like Rebels as a series. But why would you go after Star Wars fans and bash them and be so vulgar about it and so arrogant about it? It's ironic. You're supposed to be the good guy, but I mean, it's all from a certain perspective. You sound like a Sith proclaiming to be a Jedi. I mean, if we look at it from George Lucas's and Star Wars's perspective, it's amazing, the hypocrisy.
I can tell you, I just don't want to wreck it. People bitch about the dumbest shit like it's archetype characters. This is George Lucas's words. There is no Jack Bauer in Star Wars. That character doesn't exist. It's not Han Solo. Han Solo's a reluctant hero, okay? He's a reluctant hero. That's the archetype. Darth Maul, who everybody wants to win, and he's everyone's favorite because he looks sick and he's great in the video games.
He does look cool.
Fuck you guys. He's Sisyphus. He is born to fail. Learn your Greek mythology like, I don't know, George fucking Lucas did. He's cursed to roll a boulder up the hill only to have it roll to the bottom again every single time for eternity.
Yes.
That is Darth Maul's quest.
Yes.
He's in on the joke, you guys. He knows it. He's just cursed to live that life. Again, not my opinion. George Lucas's. So go fuck yourself if you disagree. You don't get to level up in the Star Wars world. That's a fucking video game.
So in his anger and arrogance, he actually, I don't know if he did this on purpose or deliberately, but he actually admits to something here, which we see in the new sequel trilogy. So characters do not evolve. He uses leveled up. But that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. If you see the evolution of Anakin from and Obi-Wan and all the characters from episode 1 to episode 3, for instance, there's a massive difference in not only skill and character and the force powers. And look at Luke from episode 4 to episode 6. Massive difference. You see in episode 4, you see a whiny, insecure, ambitious, dreamy, naive character. And in episode 6, you see a person or a character that is confident, calm, has wisdom, is kind, is introspective, and has evolved not only as a Jedi, as a person as well. He has become the hero that he wanted to be from episode 4. Let's look at episode 7 and episode 8. What is the difference between Rey in episode 7 and Rey in episode 8? When episode 8 ends, nothing has changed. She is exactly the same character. She beats everyone without any training, any growth. She is the exact same person from the beginning of episode 7 to the end of episode 8. The only thing that we know she has got more knowledge of is that supposedly her parents are nobodies. That's it. And she met Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and all of the crew. Let's look at Kylo Ren. Has he actually evolved? I mean, he killed his father in episode 7, but he's just as weak and insecure in episode 8. Is still insecure, makes rash decisions, hasn't decided if he's good or bad, and is the exact same. Leia is even the same from episode 7 to episode 8. She even has regressed to the character to episode 4, belittling and being insecure. Leia, the character from episode 6, is not the growth we see in episode 7 and 8. Because in episode 6, she was kind, she was loving, she was realized the value of friendship and not just being cynical. She warmed up and she realized trusting someone else was important, having love for not only Han Solo but also Luke Skywalker. And then we have a belittling character that somehow takes sides with a Holdo who is nobody. I mean, what is he even talking about? You don't know the first thing. You go after fans, and still, in this clip, you show you know nothing. Not even nothing about Star Wars, but about storytelling. You don't even see the point. Kanan even evolves as a character, just from season 1 to season 2. That's intriguing storytelling. What is the point if you're not going to change as a person when you tell a story? That makes no sense whatsoever.
There's no such thing as a gray Jedi. Qui-Gon even says, I turn towards the light because it's there. There's no gray. That's pretend fan fiction shit, which is cool, but don't try to canonize it because it doesn't work. And I'm never going to buy it, ever. Star Wars is for fucking kids. Sorry. I'm sorry, man.
That was incredible.
So the Star Wars is for kids line and argument is bullcrap. Now, I think episode 1 was perhaps a little bit more for children. I think he said it in the behind the scenes from the documentaries. I believe he said so, but he didn't say that for the rest of the movies. His philosophy from if you watch the movies, they're for everyone. Star Wars is for everyone. But Mark Hamill and Freddie Prinze Jr. seem to have an issue with people who have different opinions, criticizing, especially Disney Star Wars, and even people from different political viewpoints, that they can't enjoy Star Wars. How are charred bodies, which are in the beginning of episode 4, for children? How is cutting off Luke's hand in episode 5 child friendly? How is the torture that Han endures, and also what Luke endures from the Emperor in episode 6? How is that child friendly? Even Luke chops off Darth Vader's hand in episode 6. How is the arm being chopped off from Anakin Skywalker in episode 2 child friendly? People die. Jango Fett's head gets severed from his body. How is that child friendly? Are you serious, right? Mass murder. Children being murdered in Star Wars. How is that for children? Children may view it, but it's for everyone. And even children might not even understand the bigger themes of Star Wars. They might have to become a little older to understand everything about Star Wars. But this really bad argument that Star Wars is just for children is it's a weak argument. Anyways, that's all I have to say. I don't know why these arrogant, elitist people keep talking down towards the customers. I don't want to give Disney another dollar or money for any of their movies because of people like this. They let media talk to their customers like this. They let their own employees, Pablo Hidalgo, Chuck Wendig, even though he's fired right now. You have Ryan Johnson. You have who else? So Mark Hamill even, and this guy going out and bashing their own audience. What is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you? We're supposed to be the hateful people, but you're the ones exposing yourselves. Anyways, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.